Greetings, and this is our flipped meeting for May 7th, 2014. I wanted to give you all this information as soon as possible as I was able to compile it after coming out of a wonderful Synergy conference. So let's begin. Synergy in Charlotte this year, we had nearly 400 participants. This was my first Synergy conference, and I think we had great energy, a lot of compliments. Our presenters, every session was filled. Everyone we spoke with in the hallways was excited. We also had participants from Iowa and South Carolina this year. And so that was really unique. They came down for the 21st century training and stayed for the rest of the activities and really had a wonderful time. I'd like to thank Carr and Ray and Barbara, who were our board members that were there, and all of our other board members who wanted to be there, but I know that your time is limited. So definitely thank you all. And what we have announced this year is we already have our location for our 11th Synergy Conference, which will be in Greenville, North Carolina, March the 23rd through the 25th. The save the date, so we will start plastering those into the Twitterverse and Facebook, on our website and social media, and passing around. We encourage you all, if you can, also please spread the word. This will be our first time going to the East, where we know when we look at our roadmap of need, we see our greatest amount of need in the East. And so we want to definitely be able to provide economic impact as well as academic and social impact for Eastern North Carolina and support them in every way. So our meeting will follow an agenda very similar to this, and it may change over the next few days, but we'll have our standard welcome, bringing everyone to date. Lauren will give us information on where the roadmap is going in 2014. We'll update you on the intern project, which we talked about briefly in our last meeting. We do have a new STEM coordinator, and I'll mention that in this meeting. Hopefully she will be able to attend. Grants, we'll give you a grants update, and I may just do that during the next few days as we're coming up on some very close timelines. And then the design thinking, which kind of led for an action plan from the Mott Foundation. Our self-assessment, which you all will be receiving with this as well, and any advisory board transition. And so really the advisory board transition will not be a meeting agenda item, but during that time, anyone who is not pursuing another 2 years, if you just let us know, greatly appreciate it. So our STEM partnership coordinator name is Dr. Sharice Allen. Her undergraduate was at East Carolina. Her master's work was at Fayetteville State, and her doctoral work was at North Carolina State University in microbiology. She has been a faculty member at Fayetteville State for over a decade. Researcher, one of the first educators in the UNC Systems educator mentoring program. She's received several grants, but in particular federal grants from the National Institute of Health and the National Science Foundation. So hopefully she'll be there, as I mentioned, maybe to introduce herself briefly. But definitely she's gone out into the private sector now, and we happen to pick her up. So I think that'll be a great addition for us on STEM as we continue our STEM system building efforts. At this point in time, I want to talk about two of our grants again. This is the Charles S. Mott grant, which is for after-school networks. This is our traditional grant that we do every 3 years. And so we've been working on it diligently to pull together information, and now we're getting ready for the writing part of it. And so need to get the self-assessment information from you all, which is how you see the network and how has it been, and some things that we can work on. And that's really helpful. The new focus is on system building, and so this helps us primarily with looking at the collective impact model when we talked about hubs and things like that. This was prior to getting all this information, so this would actually fit very timely with what the national conversation is. This is a 3-year grant, and it will be from 2014 to 2017. The other grant that we are looking at is due June the 2nd is a Gear Up grant, a Gear Up partnership grant between North Carolina and South Carolina. Primary residence of the grant is in North Carolina. It'll be 18 school systems total, 9 in North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina more specifically, from the Roadmap of Need, and 9 in South Carolina. We plan to have several outliers, and outliers can be charter schools or school districts that we will give a lump sum of money to almost as a independent type of practice around expanded learning. And we're still researching those models right now. Looking at the collective impact model, using Education 24/7 and the compendium to pull together a focused model on college and career readiness, which has some primarily virtual functions that we feel will help improve students in digital citizenry, 21st century learning skills, and also be competent and ready for college and careers. Our first cohort, if awarded this grant, will be 6th and 7th graders in these school districts. The grant will be notification for award will most likely be in August, as the grant is due in June. Will most likely be late July, August, with the actual implementation beginning September, October. So I looked at our advisory board and saw that several of you are phasing out into your 2 years. And so we hope that those of you who are at that 2-year mark will be continuing. But if not, I definitely want to say thank you for your participation over the 2 years. And just know that while you may not be on our board, I will definitely be looking forward to contacting you and communicating with you over the course of the next few years. But looking at our advisory board for 2014-16, I wanted to toss out some things to get some feedback on, which is using technology to reduce some of the travel. So I know we have 4 meetings and they are quarterly. But I would also say that our furthest member comes from Asheville when he gets the opportunity. And this was a hard winter, so we weren't able to see Stephen as much as possible. And so I like to say that, if we can get more representatives from around our state to use technology as a meeting tool to bring us together and to work on items. So that's why I'm tinkering with Google and the flip meetings and some other things to try and get us acclimated to that potential. Also, I know that we have a couple of board members who are in a couple of the work groups. And so looking at that, definitely getting as many of you all as possible with those skill sets in those work groups. And so, having that participation by the board, trying to get a board retreat together so that we can review the progress that NCCAP is having during the course of the year. I came in August, and so we've pretty much kept to the lay of the land of what we were doing. And so now looking at that, wanting to give us an opportunity to kind of get some feedback in some incremental times where we can meet together. So a board retreat may be plausible after that first year or in the middle of the first year on the board to kind of come back and look at the work plan and where we are in that first half of the year, things of that nature, and to have a board project. And so as we look at how we get together quarterly, is it possible for us to maybe put something together in the out of school time, expanded learning area, after school area that deals with some of the needs that we have that's going on. So to do some capacity building or some different things that the board can bring to synergy and present, do different items. And so just spitballing around some things and wanted to get some feedback from you all. So just let me know. So the transitioning board members, first we want to say thank you for your time and commitment over the last 2 years. And one of the things we would just want to ask is if you have any recommendations for new members, we would greatly appreciate it. We would love to have the names of folks that you feel will help in this mission of acting as a convener, a supporter, and a clearinghouse for our state when it comes to after school and expanded learning. So thank you all again. Letters of support. So we're looking for letters of support for the MOT systems building grant is what they're calling it this year. And so the MOT grant, those letters of support are traditionally done by several of you. So we will reach back out to you in partnership. We'll also be reaching out to some new partners, but our focus will be on college and career readiness and that collective impact model. So that's going to be key to remember and think about with that support. So, are there some local entities that you already work with, if you're a partner in supporting this, that you could aid in building their expanded learning network? And the other opportunity that we'll have will be with the Gear Up grant. And Gear Up, of course, will be 7 years college and career access or readiness. Uh, and that's important because starting with a cohort of 6th and 7th graders, we would basically be able to build an expanded learning network in the school system or in their local area, with the school acting as actually the center of this hubbub of expanded learning. But bringing in, working with community partners, working with the local community colleges to provide academies to build on the skills, and really honing in from Education 24/7, which is our strategic guide, honing in on the things that work, that we've researched that found that are working, and having some funding to help that work in an actual environment. And so that's really key in Gear Up. And so Gear Up is a match, dollar for dollar match grant. So for every dollar we are awarded federally, we need to have a fiscal and or time-based match. So volunteerism is really important in the Gear Up grant. It's really emphasized a lot. So, for example, if we get $1 million of federal funding, we need to have $1 million of volunteer time or space and or fiscal actual dollars. And so that's really key for this grant. Gear Up is one of the few grants that can build capacity in a school system and in a community around college and career readiness. So our goal is Eastern North Carolina, several pockets in South Carolina, all rural schools with at least 50% free or reduced lunch. If that's something that you're definitely interested in, please let me know. As we send out more information, we'll definitely send it out to you and let you preview it. So thank you all for your time. This is our last slide in our flipped meeting. So this performance is one that I found, I saw it several months, if not a year ago, and it's about an interpretation. And so I encourage you to make sure you click on the YouTube video that's embedded. But as you go through it, think about how the message that is provided in this dramatic interpretation by this group from Hungary really sums up the life of two individuals. And so this is very well put together. And I wanted us to think about how do we, moving forward, how do we tell this message of expanded learning in North Carolina? How do we use different modes of communication and different means of communication to tell the story? I thank you again for your time. I look forward to seeing your information from the self-assessment on May the 1st, seeing everyone on May the 7th for our final meeting, and for those who of the year, for those who are transitioning out. I look forward to seeing you for the last time as an advisory board member, but I know it will not be the last time that I see you again. So take care and thank you.